Hello, my name is Amrish Pathak, Chief Information Officer of AAFMAA. It's a pleasure to be joining you for another great Software AG conference, this time virtually. I have certainly benefited a lot from attending Software AG events, and I hope you can too. In fact, AAFMAA is a strong supporter of Software AG, and Adabas Natural applications continue to play an important role in many of your organizations, including our own. Today, I'd like to talk to you about a recent success story. There are many complex legacy systems that need modernization even today. New business scenarios demand them to be exposed online for social, mobile, cloud, and big data and analytics platform usage. And it's often challenging and risky to touch the Adabas Natural applications while keeping all of the business logic and technology investments intact and still cater to new business demands. AAFMAA has been fortunate and successful in modernization with Adabas and Natural without having to reinvent the whole system. Our Adabas and Natural developers have made this possible, but let's face it, many of your organizations and our own have to address the problem of losing experienced talent and finding new recruits. In our case, our poor Adabas and Natural developers have solidly maintained our systems for decades, but are slowly leaving the workforce for their much-deserved retirements. We need to help them out, and today I'll share how we solve this problem and how you can too. I'll start with a short introduction about AAFMAA and our key partnerships that keep us strong today. Then I'll highlight specific challenges such as attracting and retaining skilled workforce as the labor market continues to tighten and technology continues to evolve, and still having to manage 4 generations of people. Then I'll talk to you about our approach, about how we solve this problem, and show you some results and offer a conclusion. So who is AAFMAA anyway? AAFMAA stands for the American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association. It was started 142 years ago when a U.S. general named Custer was essentially wiped out at the Battle of Little Bighorn. The U.S. Army at the time turned to a small committee to solve this problem, and now AAFMAA has grown to be the largest not-for-profit providing life insurance, survivor assistance, and other benefits for people in the military. And AAFMAA has been able to do that at the lowest cost possible, primarily because back in 1974, shortly after it was founded, Software AG partnered with us to take care of the people in the military. And since then, we've been able to take care of them very effectively, very efficiently, and at the lowest cost possible. It's worked out tremendously well. The partnership has been great for all of us, and it's really helped to take care of the soldiers, airmen, sailors, and Marines. AAFMAA's customers are all either current or former military. Membership is open to all branches of service, and AAFMAA offers the lowest cost products and services to these individuals. So let's look at some of our key partners. A key partner is MetroStar Systems, who is well-versed with Software AG solutions. They provide customers with digital, cloud, and legacy modernization services across the government and commercial sectors. AAFMAA has outsourced its entire IT function to MetroStar since 2005. In fact, they're co-located with AAFMAA in Reston, Virginia. MetroStar provides customers with experts to enable seamless delivery of IT solutions from the ideation phase all the way through production with no lapse in service. This agility is passed on to customers through faster and more cost-effective delivery through partnerships with Software AG, Microsoft, AWS, Google, and also Salesforce. Who else is a key partner? That's right, Software AG. Software AG is a proven leader in digitalization and a proven digital transformation technology partner for AAFMAA. They have continued to protect our investments in Adabas and Natural, and also many of your customer investments, while still accelerating the digitalization of their business needs and providing products and services that support the entire value chain for customers like us. So let's look at some of our current challenges. Surviving disruption is a key challenge for many enterprises, and we believe that there are certain attributes across our organizations that need to be tested. And they're organizations that survive disruption well, possess specific capabilities that are able to thrive. And these are in the areas of having good strategy, having committed executive leadership, having strong governance, having a great relationship between the CIO and other business stakeholders, having a risk tolerance framework as well as strong financial controls, having a people and culture process and framework, having process excellence, and of course, technologies. These organizational attributes test the fitness of enterprises for effectiveness throughout the organization. So when it comes to operational efficiencies, this helps in many of the initiatives that are faced by organizations today. And according to Gartner, many organizations plan to embrace these initiatives to increase operational efficiencies. And here are the main ones: digitalization of core business processes, adoption of new technologies such as artificial intelligence, business process automation to reduce labor costs, establishment of alternative sales and services channels, legacy modernization, including rehosting, consolidation of IT systems, and business process standardization and reengineering. AAFMAA is no different. We have embraced these initiatives, and I'll highlight some recent examples of how we did. What I'll do is talk to you about the challenge, the solution, and then the results, and how they align with our own business imperatives, which are to sell more or increase revenue, control or reduce costs, and make wise technology investments. Here are the two examples. The first one is our Linux migration. Previously, prior to 2020, we were on the legacy Solaris Unix platform. And our challenge was to retain existing technology investments in Software AG while still trying to reduce our IT operating costs. So we chose the path of migration to Red Hat Linux. We partnered with Software AG and MetroStar. We initiated a migration program by enumerating the workloads, hardware, and network, identified the infrastructure dependencies and requirements, planned out, executed the migration, validating the workloads and the cutover to production, and monitoring the workloads and environment finally when we were onto the Linux system. The results are that we've retained our existing assets with Adabas Natural on an open systems platform, resulting in a 35% decrease in IT costs, which was completed ahead of schedule. Let me give you another example. Recently, we also updated our website. So the challenge was we needed to make sure our mobile experience and our web experience increased the usability and functionality for our potential and current members. We wanted to rebrand the website to reach a wider audience and increase the membership to AAFMAA. We chose to partner with MetroStar and rebranded the look and feel of the system and launched a targeted content management platform that was fully integrated with the Software AG, Adabas and Natural system in the back end, and delivered a mobile-first design for our customers, allowing us to sell more to our customers. Now, let's shift focus to our people. Some of the generational challenges faced by many organizations are that globalization and an aging workforce are making the talent landscape increasingly competitive. There's limited availability of skills, and global competition are a bigger threat than competition from new market entrants. And there are disruptive shifts in both consumer spending and behavior, and we've seen this in 2020. There's a need for digital transformation, which means having an adaptive, diverse, and digitally savvy workforce. But because of the serious talent shortage, especially in innovation and growth roles, it means R&D and leadership will suffer the most. Moreover, the financial HR execs feel the impact of digital transformation and are having to focus on talent acquisition, performance, and rewards and development, which means having well-equipped employees to move on to greener pastures if they're not rewarded adequately. So this means compensations programs need to adapt. And because of the scarcity of talent, it means HR must redefine its existing critical competencies and create specific opportunities to attract, develop, reward, and retain the skill sets that it needs most. And there's difficulty attracting young talent, specifically to our realm, which is the insurance line of business and distribution model. And there's a significant skilled shortage there. So even Gartner recognizes this, that in order to address these challenges with a recent survey that they did, that the two key things to having best practices around people and culture are having a strong sense of purpose and identity among employees, and having a product and platform teams that work together through the entire life cycle. So what we've done, we have chosen to adopt a DevOps culture where our organizational strategy is focused on business goals, on pragmatic automation, using well-known tools such as Natural One, Git, and Eclipse, and having high value placed on learning by experimentation with rapid innovation cycles. What we've done is focused on how we can set up new team members for success using a 5-step effective onboarding process. One, having a welcoming process that's standardized on roles that begins even before the start date. Then, with education, providing hires with onboarding guides that map a comprehensive path to success. Connection, helping the employees make cross-disciplinary connections quickly throughout the organization, then immersing themselves with on-demand access to what they need to be highly efficient and highly effective immediately, and then having key insights to enable process improvements by tracking what's working and why. The result is having an accelerated time to productivity and impact. But it also requires that the right people get involved and that the team is enabled with the right processes and technology. In our area, it's focused on human resources, making sure that the onboarding experience has the best practice templates, including company culture, vision, and mission embedded in all strategy documents. The hiring manager, having personalized templates with team priorities and growth plans for each role. Then key stakeholders throughout the organization, having team-specific onboarding tasks required of each new employee that comes within the organization. And then, of course, the team members, making sure that they're getting connected early by offering success tips to the team members through an agile model. We wanted to focus on an onboarding experience that minimized disruption by creating a more and efficient hiring process with swift implementation and the ability to scale, with an intuitive mobile user experience, with flexibility and extensibility, and predictive insights and analytics. And once onboarded, we wanted to make sure that we were able to map out the future of what that employee's career path would look like, taking specific consideration to market trends and emerging capabilities. AAFMAA wants to expand its adoption of emerging technology capabilities such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Thus, we need to constantly evaluate our current employees on performance. But performance today and potential today doesn't equal performance and potential in the future. Thus, we use a mapping such as this diagram for mapping an employee's potential against a diverging path, which sometimes can be challenging. So what we needed to do is to ensure that we found rock stars. So for us, the approach was that we wanted to hire new graduates who are intelligent, had problem-solving skills, a passion for programming, and a dedication to the job, who are team players, and had a willingness to learn and do hybrid development with Adabas Natural, and really have a willingness and readiness to take on the job. But we did this by promoting a young, vibrant company culture, which is important for any recruitment strategy, and we focus less on promoting technology and more on promoting a growing company that offers young individuals with an exciting place to solve interesting problems, excel with programming in a collaborative, team-oriented culture. Once hired, we focused on the familiarity with well-known tools such as Eclipse, which is what Natural One uses. And Eclipse is already being used today in most colleges and universities. So we invested in training and mentoring with Adabas Natural, and also provided training related to Agile, DevOps tools, processes, and procedures. And we established a learning and development program relying on mentorship from our senior Adabas Natural developers. However, we were thoughtful in how we managed this. Why? Because we had multiple generations in our group. And having multiple generations means each group has its own distinct characteristics, values, and attitudes towards work based on its own generation's life experiences. To successfully integrate these diverse generations into the workplace, we needed to embrace radical changes in recruitment, benefits, and creating a corporate culture that actively demonstrated respect and inclusion for our multi-generational workforce. And with Software AG's help with training, we were fortunate that they had many offerings available. So let's talk about the topic of generational change within Adabas Natural. It is a very important topic for Software AG. Thus, they've emphasized and promoted their offering of Adabas Natural training in the form of on-site, instructor-led training through their education services catalog, also with how-to product videos. And this is all great. And in 2020, Software AG went even further. They provided self-paced e-learning training courses related to natural development, Natural One and DevOps, database, and API development. The results are tremendous. We now have a sustainable organization that is able to properly adopt new technology services, and we have leveraged Adabas Natural to transform our business activities, competencies, and business models. We've built around the needs of members and their user experience, and we've offered high-quality online digital services to realize huge benefits. We've relied on good partners such as Software AG. We did not rip and replace. And in 2020, as I mentioned, we migrated successfully from Solaris to Red Hat Linux. So let's meet some of our rock stars. The first is Joe Stafford. He's a computer science major that he pursued later in his personal career as a goal to pivot into the IT world. He's a millennial. He joined as a natural development intern and began shadowing our senior natural developers and learned all of his natural coding via the mentorship program within our team and using textbooks. Within 6 months, he expressed interest in also working with front-end applications that connected with our backend, which is Adabas Natural, and started doing API and CRM development. Within a year, Joe has taken over Tier 1 operational ticket support responsibilities from senior natural developers, and by year 2, he's taken on more senior tasks, such as being critical for support for the Solaris to Linux migration, including setting up and supporting ESP Auto, and engaging in multi-application development that connects our life insurance administration, which is based on Adabas Natural, and connecting it with our front-end .NET applications. He handles Tier 1 support for our customer services or policy services and apps processing departments with data entry fixes, user fixes, and handles our month-end billing process. Let's meet our next rock star, Nemo Hirschberg. He's a music major and has a development interest that he found in the last semester of college. And he's a generational Z. He also joined as an intern but not for Natural, it was for .NET development. However, after 6 months of .NET development, he expressed an interest in natural and began learning via the courses provided by Software AG. He began shadowing junior developers such as Joe and picking up operational ticket work. Within months of working with Natural, he supports data requests for ad hoc reports and schedule reports on a monthly, weekly basis with data corrections, and handles .NET development for our applications, including the AAFMAA website, from small change requests to complex multi-page efforts. The bottom line is managing the generational change is easier than you think. Both Nemo and Joe are success stories for us. They were pleased with the Software AG courses that provided all coverage of the core concepts and preparing them to dive into natural programming. And as you can see, we did not rip and replace Adabas and Natural. In fact, in 2020, we successfully migrated from Solaris to Red Hat Linux and made further commitments to use Adabas and Natural in the future. We are making the generational change, and you can too, as long as you have a clear strategy and workforce plan. As you can see, we hired the talent that we needed. But in order for you to do so, you need to invest in training and mentoring with Adabas and Natural. Leverage Software AG's training offerings and make sure your training includes agile methodologies, tools, processes, and procedures. But give your people interesting work to do and let them run. The new development workforce will stay, learn, teach, thrive, and produce. Their mentors will know that Adabas and Natural are in good hands when they retire. Thank you.